So when I was just recording, everything that I was saying, literally, you couldn't hear nothing. So I'm going to try this again. So the other day, I got a ticket. It was a traffic ticket, so I had to go to court or whatever. I go to court, but before going to court, I prayed. I prayed that morning. I prayed that night. And Lord behold, I thought this man was not going to show up. Because if the officer do not show up, then dismissed. All right, cool. So I showed up to court. But for some reason, I was nervous. I'm like, why am I nervous? So I prayed a little bit more. I'm like, why am I nervous, God? What's going on? So anyways, so I thought the officer wasn't going to show up. I thought, maybe he's going to be at work. He's going to be busy, so he's not going to show up. But then again, it's been times where some have showed up. So I'm like, okay, he probably should show up. So I wasn't really sure. Okay, cool. So after praying, I'm like, okay, it's going to get dismissed. He's not going to show up or whatever. All right, cool. So he ended up showing up. So when he showed up and I seen him, I instantly said, hold up. Now, I done prayed last night and I done prayed today. Why is this man here? Why he here? What's going on? So, because I'm like, okay, this case got it. I didn't pray for what happened. I prayed for my case to get dismissed. All right, cool. So we end up needing to get switched to a different courtroom. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool. Maybe they take long enough so he got a kid. Maybe he got to go or something, right? I just was like, get this man out of here. But while we're walking, we had to kind of talk. So I'm like, hey, which courtroom do we go in? So we had to kind of exchange words there. But it wasn't like this was my enemy. Like, I'm like, you're doing your job. I get it. So while we're sitting in there, since we had to move to a different courtroom, while we're sitting in there, we're in there with people with high offense or whatever. They were getting out of jail or something like that. Some was being sentenced or something like that. And I'm just like, why am I here? So I'm like, God, what's going on? Y'all not listening? There's what's going on, ancestors? Y'all don't hear my prayers? Like, y'all don't hear me? So I'm in there. I'm like, why am I sitting in here? Like, what's the lesson in this? Because at this point, I'm here for a whole hour now. So I'm like, what's the lesson in this? So, for one, never question God. For two, it's a lesson in everything. Okay? But anyway, so as I'm sitting here, I'm saying that or whatever. But other than getting frustrated, this is when I just start praying. It just was put on my heart to start not only praying for my situation, but praying for other people's situation, and just praying for the officers and just everybody as a whole. Not only thanking God that I made it there and he kept me safe and kept my car, running and working and just kept us all safe, and just praying that everybody make it home and everybody's case work out and, win-win and blah, 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 blah. I pray for everybody in there. By the time I was called, when I first got in there, I was nervous, but by the time I was called, I was calm. So with me being calm, I was able to really explain myself versus if I would have been called ahead of time, I would have been so nervous, it would have been hard for me to talk. So that's one thing. But I think that's the third thing. Like, don't really rush, because sometimes you can be like rushing and you're just not ready, right? So it just all goes bad. So anyways, so by the time I got called, the judge was really, really nice. She listened to both of us, and before we started, she gave me, just a rundown of what's going to happen and blase, blase, blase. So I was like, okay, cool. Okay. I feel like everything's fair. Whatever the decision is, I just was like, you know what, God, whatever decision you make, I'm game. Whatever it is, I'm with it, whatever. Because it's out of my control. It is what it is. So I let the officer went first, and as he was explaining what he was explaining, I was able to see what he was talking about, because when I got that citation, I'm like, wait, I don't even believe I'm supposed to get this citation. basically saying that I was blocking traffic, but I didn't see any traffic. I was already long gone by the time he said I was blocking traffic, so it didn't make sense to me. However, that doesn't mean that it probably didn't happen. I just didn't, that's not what I seen because it was in the back of me, for one. Um, so when he pulled me over, I'm like, what you pulling me over for? Buzz, buzz, buzz. I went off on him, and I did apologize, because I was like, I didn't mean to. I was just taken because I'm like, what? You stopping me for what? I didn't understand. So, um, he explained everything, and then I explained that that's from my point of view, that didn't happen. This is what it was. Blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I was found guilty only because the officer said that I was blocking traffic due to the fact that he said that I guess I was guilty. But even though I was found guilty with a much lesser charge, and I did not have to pay for that. I was given the opportunity to do, what is it? Volunteer work. So I'm like, what? So the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, my ancestors didn't hear me. God didn't hear me. Where y'all at? Right? Whole time I'm thinking this, the whole time everything is working out in my favor, because this gives me the opportunity to not only volunteer somewhere, but also just learn new things and meet new people, and just, yeah. And my case is basically dismissed. So I say that to say this, because this was a really important message, even though I'm all over the place with it sometimes, right? I say that to say this. Sometimes when you pray, it may not show up how you want it to show up, and it may not show up when you want it to show up, but everything is going to work out for you if you continue to have faith. Pray through it for God to get you through it, right? Because if I would have probably started being negative, like, you know what, blase, blase, y'all taking too long, blah, 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 it probably would have been a different outcome. So just stay positive throughout it all, because positivity always brings positivity. So stay prayed up, stay encouraged, keep the faith, okay? Yes, they hear you. It may not be when you want it, but God is going to always show up, and God is going to always work out things. And the judge was like, oh, I wish I would have recorded that, because me and the officer, we ended up saying, our sorries, and I'm happy everything worked out. And it was just a peaceful moment. Like, and I love that for us. It was just a really peaceful moment, and everything worked out, and I was just happy afterwards, because I'm just like, wow, it just turned out better than I thought it was going to turn out. I'm happy that I got to see him again. I'm happy that I was able to apologize to him. I'm happy that everything worked out in his favor as well. So I was just overall happy about the whole situation. It was definitely one of them moments where it's like, wow, I'm I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. So yeah, that was my little rant. That was my little story I wanted to share. So yeah, that's the end.